It is Friday. RawMikeRichards.com, broadcasting live from the DKI studios in downtown Toronto. Oh, we got stuff today, as always, on a Friday, including all your picks. Victor Newman's passionate picks. Victor Newman will be by Dave Bastel's Friday foreplay. He doesn't want that, including Russell Graham's happy endings. You realize on YouTube, they're so sensitive about everything. Every word, every nuance of anything. It's like, not acceptable. What is the wording, Russell? Not acceptable for most advertisers. Shut up. Shut up. Yes, it is. It's what people want. I mean, you just see the words, I'm sure. Sexy pics of gold sex. Foreplay and happy endings might have a connotation to it. Sure, I get that.
Does it? Oh.
But
okay.
could you just watch before you shut it down? And then they put it back. In fact, the shout-out that we did to our good friend Pierre Maguire in squashing prostate cancer early. Not acceptable for most advertisers.
Wow, really, eh?
What? Like, how do you get a shout-out to a guy and then you have the computer with all its criteria taking that down? By the way, today, someone let me in. The double wave they got back. The double wave.
It's nice of you to do that.
Yeah, I pull in, driver's side, like, ew. And then when they could see, you know, when you can see the other driver's rearview mirror, up the other hand goes a double wave.
It's really nice.
It's very nice.
I never do that.
Oh, I'm delicious, Dave. Didn't. It's like when the Fonz used to give,
Hey, oh,
yeah,
hey.
you used to get the and Ralph would go, oh, the double Fonz, the double. This is what I've done. This is what I do for people.
Do you think Russell understands that reference? Because he should.
Incorrectamundo.
Exactly. Exactly.
Russell, do you know who that is or what I'm
Do you know
talking
who the
about? Of
Fonz
course
is?
you do. You must do that. Of course he does.
Yeah, I know. From Happy Days.
Hey,
There we go.
There we go.
Right there.
All
Oh,
right, I
yeah.
love it.
Absolutely.
To be fair,
Somebody's on his game today.
To be fair, I will say I learned about the Fonz and Happy Days through Family Guy.
There you go.
But
okay.
But
Oh, when the church of there was Peter had the church of the Fonz.
yeah,
That was the best. and if you're our age, that was a really good idea. Really good idea. Oh, the way, and I still fix things the Fonz way. You know,
Boom.
the boof.
Oh.
My computer was making noise the other day, probably because of what I use the computer for. It's just it's filthy, just filthy, and it was making all those weird sounds. Oh, boof! Friday, 4:00, be there. Oh, and it works. Trust me. If there's a girl that you like in your office, and especially in the office, because I find right now it's really appropriate to do this. Just go up to her and go, Saturday, 8:00, Sobeys, be there. Whoa.
That would work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, if Harvey Weinstein and Louis C.K. and Kevin Spacey and any of these guys had done that, you're off the hook. All it is a Fonz. All you're doing is a Fonz. That's not inappropriate. It's cool. What a stupid way to start this show. But it's a stupid show.
I like the message.
So we're good with that. What else today? Well, we've got a lot of picks. We're going to take a look at, from Sports Interaction, the senior lines manager, Phil Gray.
Senior.
Yep. He's
Lines manager, yeah.
now we're known as the Kings of King Street.
That's right.
Oh, jeez. Correctamundo. Okay, all right, I'll stop. I'll stop. I don't want to.
I think Stephen Rapp's the guy that first thought of that one, though.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
It's all Stephen Rapp on that one. That is correct. Warren Socku, our good friend, is going to talk about Baseball Canada and a fundraiser that they're doing. I think it's online, if I'm reading this right. But we'll let him explain what it is.
It's an actual banquet. No, it's at there is an online portion of it. But
Yeah,
the actual banquet goes down on Saturday.
But they do have the stuff that you can bid
Auction
on.
and bid, yeah.
Yeah, online.
Yeah.
So
some really nice stuff too, by the way.
we'll talk to him about that. There's not a whole bunch of hockey to talk about except for the layoff, I guess. That the schedule, by the way, is done by a computer. It's the HAL 2000 that comes up with what they think the I don't know what again. Looking at how the Leafs have to play, don't they play Buffalo 18 times before the season's over? Like it's ridiculous that you wouldn't have all those things that generate a schedule that makes some sense. The Leafs are off for 6 days?
Yep.
And then, of course, when's the All-Star break?
End of the month. The week of the 27th.
Because then what will happen is they'll go into this grind. Now, if you're the Leafs and you have to play Buffalo 17 times, that should be 17 wins.
That's a pretty good grind.
So that's not bad. It's close. You could stay over. I don't know, go to a Holiday Inn, cannonballs, whatever they got to do, and then go out and beat them. But at that point, what is going to be left of Buffalo? Like, there's certain teams I'm looking at. They've been so bad from the start. I don't know if anyone's been as bad as Buffalo from the start.
Nope.
Is it just, and I want to say a fire sale, people go, oh, hilarious, Buffalo. But seriously.
No, it will be a fire sale.
What is going to be left? Because I feel the Pegula family and you know what they represent and what they've tried to do in that city, with the city itself, I kind of feel bad for them. But where have they made their mistakes? Because if you're going after Eichel, you can't goon them on that. Because I get it.
No,
you know, you made a decision at some point who you thought was one way or the other. You take Eichel, but Jack Eichel is still a substantial player. But where does it fall apart for them? Going back to coaching change?
Yeah.
Like where does it start to implode for them?
I don't mind the coaching change. I like Phil Housley. I think Phil Housley's a pretty good coach.
But even going further back, let's go 2 or 3. Should Lindy have been the guy that stayed there always?
At the time, yeah. I think their major mistake, if you're looking at a major mistake, because there's multiple mistakes on this team, is everything Murray did as a general manager for this team, and just some of the mistakes, and the Ryan O'Reilly contract is just lethal considering what the guy brings, and he's being paid like a top 10 forward.
He's the one who passed over Toronto, correct? And said, I'm not going?
O'Reilly?
Yeah. Wasn't he part of that?
No, the Leafs didn't want anything to do with him, surprisingly. So I thought they were at one time. The other thing is, and I guess you can't really say totally his fault, because a lot of people thought that way, including myself. They had a lot of faith in what they thought they were bringing in Robin Leonard.
Well, I think a lot of people have been fooled by that one.
Yeah, hey, me included.
Yeah. No, we talked about Robin Leonard. He comes up from Binghamton because of, just basically what he achieved down there. All the lineage, Dave, like all the trends seem right. He comes up to Ottawa and looks pretty good. Like he looks good in Ottawa. But this is why playing that position so well for a long period of time, it's really hard.
No,
really hard.
That's exactly it. So Evander Kane will not be part of this hockey club moving forward. A guy like Benoit Pouliot will not be part of this club. If they could get rid of a guy like Zach Bogosian, which might be tough because he still has a couple years left on his contract at $5 million plus, that's going to be tough. Josh Georges would have to waive, and he might get moved. He might want to leave the Buffalo area, to tell you the honest truth. Don't be surprised if they eventually give up on Robin Leonard. He's a restricted free agent at the end of the year. Don't get rid of prospects. Get rid of expiring contracts, even at Jason Pominville and guys like that still have term on it. He might be able to help a club that's trying to get over the hump, because he has another year left on his contract. Then he's unrestricted.
Do you know how long it's been since I've heard that name? And
Pominville?
Pop up the population in Pominville.
Well, he
and
left and he came back, right? So, but it's, they made the right decision with Jack Eichel. I think it's going to be a decision that they're not going to regret eventually. This year, it looks horrendous because the contract looks like, did you really commit to that guy? It's like, no. The guy's going to be very good.
He's the only piece they have, really.
And he might be the only piece, but they got to surround him with something. And he seems like the type of guy that won't be able to carry it himself. He has to be surrounded by it, and they simply do not have those pieces in place.
It's like having a great quarterback and no offensive line. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's really hard to gauge him.
Andrew
Luck.
Is
he ever going to, you think, reach, like, he was called a generational player, and I understand why. If you saw him playing Stanford, if you saw really that football IQ, which is extraordinary, but when you get destroyed each and every game.
If Andrew Luck
and let me before. Yeah. Also, I thought the coaching staff since he's been there has done a really poor job.
Yes,
I think their play calling. I think that the
play
schemes,
calling, yes, yeah. and the general manager, who was since fired because they have a new one in place this year, drafting countless wide receivers in the first round after wide receiver isn't going to help Andrew Luck being protected.
The Greg Millen plan.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. If Andrew Luck is such a good quarterback, if Andrew Luck went to the Cleveland Browns today, and if he was healthy, the Browns would be a 500 team or better. That's how good Andrew Luck is. and the Browns have an offensive line, have a decent set of receivers, have an average sort of running attack, he'll turn that into something that's at least 500.
You're watching or listening to rawmike.richards.com on the website or on the dedicated YouTube channel. Once again, it's great when you subscribe. It's right there at the bottom, right there, that little picture in my head. Just click on it. You're in. Won't miss any of the, and also the promos that we send out, including this thing coming up. Just before we get to Warren Sakyu, we were talking about Robin Leonard. The art of the mask, which if you want to kill time as a guy, maybe you're not enjoying your job so much. And we'll use our own music on this one, just so you know. Yeah. A company called THC, is that correct? Put this collection together of the goalie masks. So look and enjoy as the art of the mask over the years is sensational. Now, Dave, do you think you could guess almost every single one? Now, I know you're on an angle, so it's tough to see. But for those that aren't, a certain age group, this stuff must look like ancient history. I mean, it's more like looking at Jason,
yes,
than it would be guys who actually use these things.
But it's phenomenal. And the artistic display. And you know what? We're still going to try to get Mr. Harrison on this program because I'm trying to book a time where the guy that probably made 75 to 80% of these masks that we're seeing right now.
No, that wasn't Palmetier, was it?
That was Palmetier when he was in Washington.
When in the Caps, yeah.
Yeah. So he's the guy that actually artistically drew these and sent these out to the, like goalies, NHL goalies in that League of 21 would go to him and him only. Yes. I want him in studio, and I'm trying to get him to bring some samples as well. And then when he turns the other way, I'm stealing those samples. but don't tell him I'm going to steal them because that's my plan.
I had, as I said, as a kid, it was the end of the mask, and you didn't get a chance when I was really young. I had like the Doug Favell Philadelphia Flyer.
Yes.
So the red, the orange kind of flare.
Yes, off of the eyes. Kind of thing.
Yes, that's what I had, because it really was incredible.
Like stuff like that is awesome. It just there's Gary Bromley's right there with the Buffalo Sabres. That was a really nice mask. See, it was funny because you'd see the white ones. Even the white ones had some character, even though they were white. But I still like the design of the actual mask itself.
The Boston Bruin goaltender was Gilles
Gilbert.
Yeah. He had a white mask that I thought was fantastic. I liked it. Of course, Jerry Cheever's very famous from a previous era.
Stitches,
but
yep.
There's
Tony.
There's Tony, yeah.
It's a great, I remember as a kid, this is going back.
There's basically, Paul would probably talk about it, but the initial mold that Jacques Plante came up with.
Yes. I remember as a kid there was a book called Goalie Masks, and I used to put a piece of white paper on top of them. I'd rent it from the library, and I'd continue to re-rent it. And all I do is trace the goalie masks because of how much I
drew them all the time for obvious reasons. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing in school. There you go. That's a cool promo. And of course, if you subscribe to Raw Mike Richards on the YouTube page, you can watch that sucker all day long. We should also a shout out to Chris Creamer, who since he's been on the show, he's been so fantastic for us. He talks about the logos, but it truly is the artwork of the time. And how can you not say that when you're talking about artwork, that is not the goalie mask itself? So in a couple of seconds, we're going to talk to Warren Sakyu. Dave, if you want to fill in time while I'm working the magic here on the old Skype phone.
And by the way, the guy I was talking about, just so you know, just so I'm getting it right, because a lot of times I'll say Paul Henderson. No, it's Greg Harrison.
Oh, sorry, Greg. Yeah.
Greg Harrison is the architect of what those masks that you just saw at that time, and I'm still trying to get a hold of an old Gary Smith, Suitcase Smith mask that had the Mike Lee look with jets on the side with the blue and the red, or a Pierre Hamel. I don't know if you remember Pierre Hamel, Mike, but another great mask at that time. Speaking of that, let's go to some NHL really quick while Mike gets a hold of Warren Sakyu. Light schedule on a Friday night in the NHL. Winnipeg's in Chicago tonight. That's an 8:30 start on the East Coast time, I should say. Chicago clearly not on the East Coast. Vancouver and Columbus. Columbus falling yesterday. Calgary and the Florida Panthers do battle in South Florida. I expect James Reimer to get the start for the Panthers in that one. Washington and Carolina also on the docket tonight. Could be a pair of backup goalies as these teams playing back-to-back games. And finally, in Arizona, the Edmonton Oilers will be in Phoenix, just Glendale, Arizona, to be exact.
It's beautiful down there this time of year.
It is. Actually, I was talking to somebody from Phoenix yesterday because my Ring alarm for the house actually comes from Arizona. Their head office is from Arizona, so they took care of business, and yippee-ki-yay.
I've been drunk in Phoenix, and now that was a lovely lead-in as we go to Warren Sawcue here on RawMikeRichards.com. Good morning, Warren.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Did you catch that classy intro? Hey, by the way, Dave, I got hammered in Phoenix, and now we go to Warren. Warren.
I'm on my way to build the Ark, actually, right now. The deluge out here is unbelievable.
Yeah, can you? It was really dark coming in today too, and the turnaround. I mean, this is sort of like a Chinook right now if you're out west, and then we're going to get like this deep freeze that's going to come in. So as a lot of people feel around the country, God does not like Toronto. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out today. Now, there's something cool coming up. We got a lot of response when you came on last time. A lot of grassroots baseball people responded. The Etobicoke Rangers group, the alumni of that, those that have been close to Baseball Canada for a long time, talking about the passing of Whitey. Now, there is a fundraiser coming up that will benefit Baseball Canada. Is that correct?
That's correct, and that is tomorrow, and it happens every year. Now, people might not know this, and they think, well, baseball, these guys make billions, and, why do they need money? Well, Baseball Canada, like you said, is about grassroots, Mike and Dave, and it's about giving back and getting the youth through the programs, getting coaching and funding. And baseball, as we know, is coming back to the Olympics in 2020 in Japan.
Good. That's the best decision they've made in about 100 years.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I actually was hoping cricket might get in, but, nothing against cricket, but or lawn bowling, but, anyhow, yeah, a true sport, right? Baseball is a true sport. So it's very important that we recognize the fact that this is the once-in-a-year fundraiser that Baseball Canada does, and they're really promoting the younger talent this year. A lot of times they'll have the older veteran guard back, like the Justin Morneaus, like the Larry Walkers, and the others, Matt Stairs. This year they've decided to focus not only on the youth, so you're thinking about Dalton Pompey as a name that you'd recognize, and they're also going to bring Chris LaRue, who's Chris, if any of you watch. I don't watch it personally, but The Bachelor Canada, Chris is a national team member and also pitched for the Pirates, Major League pitcher. So he's going to be one of the feature headlines, and it's a great function. It's down at the now called the Marriott Hotel in the Dome or the Rogers Center, and that usually hosts upwards of close to 300 people, Mike and Dave, and it's a great event. And I sent you a link before. There is a online auction going right now, and one of the marquee items is Luke Wilson, of Seattle Seahawks, tight end fame. Many of you will know. He was a junior national team member for a brief while. So not only are we producing great baseball talent, but we're producing great talent across all different sports.
Well, not only that, I was kind of browsing that today too, Warren. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. But Freddie Freeman jerseys also there with a set of spikes, and they're both signed by the Atlanta Braves first baseman. There's a lot of good stuff on there, isn't there?
Yes, if you like memorabilia and you love Canadian baseball, and once again, this money all goes back to support the program. And remember, when Team Canada is not involved in the Olympics, they lose upwards of $250,000 to $300,000 of monies that goes into the grassroots program, and that's for the kids that are coming up, for the coaching and for all that. So this is really important that I've been going to this event now for 15 years. It started back in 2003. Greg Hamilton, Jim Baba, these individuals, and the rest of Baseball Canada, they put this on, and it's not an elaborate event in terms of lavish. It's about getting close to the athletes. And the one thing I truly love about Baseball Canada is it is a close fraternity, and that fraternity welcomes people to come and meet these players, and they're very humble. And you know what? It goes a long way in people who are interested or looking to bring kids or whatever. So if you're still interested, you can go online. I know, Mike, you and Dave have tweeted it out. Go to Baseball Canada's website. If you want to grab a seat at the last minute, if you got a baseball fan or you got a youngster that you want to take, it's a great time. It's literally 4 or 5 hours, starts at 6, and you get to mingle with the best of the best in Canada. And that's what I love.
So once again, so there's tables still available? There's still room for people?
There are. I talked to Greg Hamilton one Wednesday, and he said that there still are seats available. They've switched up the format to kind of really focus on the youth this year. They'll probably bring back some of the old guard next year, but this year it's about bringing the young talent that you're going to see in the major leagues very soon are going to be featured. And if you want to get a seat, all you need to do is go on to baseballcanada.ca or reach out to Greg Hamilton. You know, his information's on the site. You can get a seat. Like I said, there are still seats available. It's pretty packed, but you know what? I've taken some people, and it's been game changers for them because of the access that they have to these great athletes.
Yeah, and one of those players that are confirmed, Warren, and you know this, Noah Naylor, who is part of the Ontario Blue Jays team, Team Canada Juniors. He's also a Texas A&M signee. Guys like this, Warren, we're going to be talking about players like this in the next 4 or 5 years on major league clubs. A lot of people are going to get a chance to see him on Saturday night.
That's right. There's a media event prior, gentlemen. I'm going to be attending that. I'll do a little recon for Mike Richards and come back and get some good dialogue for you guys. Get some of the inside scoop. So be ready for that, boys. But there's a media event, starts at 3:30. Going to attend that, and you know, that's an opportunity where there is some donations from the Blue Jays, from Major League Baseball. You also get you know, the media gets up and close with some of the players, and then at 6 o'clock the cocktails start. And the who's who of baseball in Canada are there. Actually, a lot of great people. You know, you think of Steve Rogers, ex-Expo. I know many Expo fans out there. He attends every year on behalf of Major League Baseball. Pat Gillick is usually there. Paul Beeston. I mean, these are great names. And you get to shake their hand, and you actually get to have a dialogue. And you know, the Blue Jays have been a great supporter as well. Ross Atkins will be there. It really is. It really is a special evening. It's once a year. It's January 13th. Tomorrow evening, and like I said, if anybody is still interested, they can go online and take a look and even purchase a ticket, or go to the online auction too if you're a memorabilia fan.
Well, I should say thank you, Sluggo.
Boys, Mike, I gotta say,
I like
gotta
that.
Give one. You like that?
Oh, I love it.
You tweeted it. Okay. I got to say one thing here. You have a coaching and you come from a teaching, coaching background. I know that. You've talked about it. Joe Juris, a great Etobicoke Ranger, former St. FX quarterback, and now principal in Milton, said, listen, you got to get me in touch with Mike Richards and Dave Bastel. He said, I can't stand this garbage that's on regular AM radio now in the mornings. He goes, I love these guys. I want to reach out and tell him how much I appreciate him. So he's registered, you know, he signed up, he subscribed. I got a lot of the Rangers from Etobicoke and Arundel Cardinals listened in, gave a lot of praise for the words that you guys said and for the interview last week. And I just wanted to throw that out there that a lot of people listened and they really enjoy your show. So keep up the great work, guys.
Oh, we appreciate that, Warren. That's fantastic. We love having you on and the kind words. That's great going into a weekend like this. So good luck with the banquet tomorrow night. We'll keep in touch. It's not that far. You know, we're sitting here in January. You know, quickly baseball.
Open Warren, you know this. Open invite. We want you in studio sometime in the next month.
Done and done, David.
Yeah.
You know that. I'll be ready to go, boys.
Hey, thanks so much this morning, Warren. You take care. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, stay dry.
That is Warren Sawku. And once again, we'll tweet out at some point today also the availability if you want to see tickets for the event this
Bingo.
weekend, and of course the online auction, because I know a lot of people love that. Like you're sitting there as you're kind of pretending that you're working, and then it's like, how are we doing on this? And by the way, roast beef. You perked up when we talked about, and when Dave talked about one particular player, the kid who's got the full ride at Texas A&M. How's that? Do you really know him, or is this just are you trying to show off, or
no? I just know them.
I think
like
he's trying to show off.
Great family. I played hockey with his older brother, who is a San Diego Padres prospect right now.
Cool.
So no, just hearing his name that he was going there, I was like, oh, like great guy. Their dad's a great coach, great guy. So. Yeah.
Did you think at any point that you'd like a baseball scholarship, or that?
A baseball scholarship would be nice, but
I think that'd be good for you too.
But my baseball career ended at about 5 years old, so
that's tough. And you know what? That's a real early cut. That's a tough call at the age of 5.
You realize at the age of 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
would have gone to the pros, but that blown out knee when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So
boy.
Most people don't blow out their knee at age 5.
No. Even Marissa, Dave has her doing wind sprints, So appreciate Warren coming on. He's a great guy, and we will certainly, as we get closer to baseball, which
we actually were hitting in the basement on the weekend.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She doesn't do the tee anymore. She's still in tee-ball, but I'm starting to teach her how to hit off of free swing.
So hi, Uncle Mike. What is happening? No. We don't need. Okay, so we're going to talk about some obviously the lines coming up this weekend. We'll see if there's been that much movement, and for a guy like Phil Gray, who is a good friend of ours, obviously, and a senior lines maker for Sports Interaction. Now, let's just see if we can make this thing work this time, Dave. It was a little exciting last time. Let's try it again.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Because Inside the Lines, by the way, this weekend on the Fan.
Yeah, Inside the Lines every single Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. Across the Sportsnet Radio Network, Phil Gray, one of the contributors of the show, and of course Sports Interaction, a good affiliation here with Mike Richards. Sign up for a new account. They'll top you up to $200. So put down $200, get your $200, and of course in that sign up, you got to drop bar that menu and make sure you say Mike Richards.
Yeah, Mike Richards.
Not to be
Mike Richards.
And speaking of which. Phil Gray.
Phil Gray.
No, peppery. No, see, that doesn't work either.
I like Phil Gray.
Phil Gray. Is that true? Could you go with that?
Mike Richards and David Bastel, the new kings of King Street. And off the top, I've got to congratulate David Bastel as he's the newly crowned and repeat champ as the first loser at Inside the Lines.
That's right.
There was a dispute on that and an asterisk, but I've gone to the powers that be. And that's all solved. I'll be bringing the trophy next week, Dave.
Thank
you are
you.
the first loser.
Phil, how I approach that, considering the three of us did not have very good records for the season, is I, for a second consecutive year, was the smartest guy in summer school. So I do accept the trophy, and I will win it for a third consecutive year next year.
Excellent. I'll be bringing the trophy with me.
By the way, there's a picture that we're showing to the audience right now of you in hockey gear. What is that all about?
Yeah.
Are you a decent player? Is there humility with what we're getting here this morning, Phil Gray?
Well, I was one of those. I actually was watching you guys earlier, and your producer there said his career ended at 5. Mine ended at about 8.
Wow, I'll tell you, there's some tough cuts at the grassroots level. But Phil, we're talking about this big weekend coming up, and of course I don't know if it was a shocker necessarily, but in all fairness to any lines maker and what you got to do, how do you not favor Atlanta going into Philadelphia? The number, is it still -3? Because, look, it's the first time that we've seen this at this time of year for an NFL playoff game, but I think it's probably the right call.
Rock solid, Mike. I called that last week on 3. It came out at 2.5. I waited. It jumped onto 3, and we sat there, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's going to be the biggest public lean of the week, and as David says, always fade the public. Always fade George and Steve. So we're juicing it right now. Will you get the hook on Philadelphia? I really doubt it, because I think I'm going to see some Blade Eagle money, but that's going to be one of my biggest worries of the week for sure.
Speaking of the hook, they dropped the hook on the Jacksonville game. It was 7.5. That's been bought down to 7. Are we gonna stay at 7, or could we see this even sinking a little bit more? Because I for one, I'm on the Jaguars this weekend.
That actually, that the 7.5 was there very briefly. I'm looking at a lot of the brick and mortar shops, and it was very, very briefly. We opened on 7 as well. Juicing Pittsburgh right now, as there is quite a lean on Pittsburgh as well. Again, it's going to be one of the games. Are you going to get the hook? I doubt it. It'll be juice on the 7. That number is rock solid as well.
Well, looking at some of these lines, and I've heard a lot of people sort of talk about where they think they want to go. I think the reality is, I think if you're still talking about Case Keenum as a third-string quarterback, you just really haven't paid attention to really what he has done the entire year. They have full belief in him, but at the end of the day, still, I think, Phil, that defense for Minnesota, it's what they've done at home. So I know that people are always tempted to take an over because they see New Orleans, but New Orleans this year hasn't been necessarily the track meet team that people have believed them to be in the past because they run the ball now. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of totals, to be honest, this week, and at plus 46.5. Sometimes it's a first half under, like however you want to look at it. But I think the unders, and not probably even historically, they're probably pretty good at this time of year in the NFL. But I'm probably still looking at an under in this game for me anyway.
Well, you know what, Mike, that opened at 44.5, so it's jumped to, almost a field goal to 47. I would expect that probably to get past the key number of 47, maybe almost to 48 by game time on New Orleans as a public team is the over. And you know what? It's Drew Brees. He's inside. I don't like to give opinions, as David knows. I bet minus 110. But it's Drew Brees. He's indoors. He's won the big games.
Oh, this computer just started to restart, and it just hooked him.
Are you kidding me? Oh no!
I got an email from Bob in Illinois, just outside of Chicago. He goes, phones to microphone, cell phones on mics, computer failures. He goes, who cares when you got talent? Just keep on going. Just keep getting mad. It's that entertaining. Well, it's going to be real entertaining in about 10 seconds here. So we apologize to Phil Gray. I had no idea that this thing was going to pull this crap. But this is sort of back? We will. Yeah, you can text him back. But Phil just talking about some of the, because the public generally likes an over. The public generally likes to pound on an over because it's kind of fun. You want to see everyone score. It's the squares necessarily, and those that are maybe a little closer to the professional side of the gaming world that are going to take a look at, taking some unders. And I find that at this time of year, especially with the teams that are playing, offensive explosions, have they happened? Yeah, sure, of course they have. But I still say that defense, in almost any other sport, especially this one, if you want to win a championship, then you better have some defense. And I'll give you a case that's not even football related. Generally, when people want to talk about the Golden State Warriors, Dave, the first thing they want to do is talk about the Splash Brothers. They want to talk about, Steph Curry, Thompson, all the threes. The reality is they can get stops when they need them. They get stops when they need them, and that's why they win championships. And I'll be honest, looking at Cleveland, I still figure that at the end of the day, it's going to be the Cavs going on, but they completely looked dismantled last night. Are you kidding me? They coughed up 133 points to the Raptors. 133 to anybody. Now, look, the Raptors have a team when they get hot, and DeMar gets hot. I mean, you can see that it's their games tend to go a little bit over. But, man, you've been pounded a couple times, and it's on the defense. And if I'm going to look at the reason if they didn't go on, and I still have a hard time thinking that they won't come out of the East, the problem is by the time they regain it, and that generally happens with really good teams who underachieve through the year, just in the nick of time, they hit another switch. But if they wait too long, is that switch going to be big enough that they're going to be able to go and take out a Boston who's playing very, very well? Said my heart's, it's the heart. My gut says that Cleveland still pulls it through. But Dave, if they don't start playing defense, I don't think they're going to win anything.
Well, that's the thing. You don't know what you're getting with Cleveland because you're talking about the Cleveland Cavs team in January. If this is the kind of Cleveland team that we see in late March, then I think the sirens go off and something has to be fixed or something has to be done. But for now, the Raptors, full marks. They played 110%. Everybody was clicking. When a guy like Fred VanVleet, scores at will and drops threes, and they get support from the bench, and everybody's kind of clicking at the same time, that's awesome. On the other side, LeBron was the only guy that actually showed up for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, yeah. Don't point all the fingers at LeBron because it's really LeBron and friends. And if the friends don't play well, he's on his own. And I think kind of that's what's surprisingly, that's what's happening right now. For VanVleet, he must have felt like he was playing back at Wichita State. I mean, he had some pretty good days with the Shockers, and he had some. And I like him. He's a solid guy. I like the way he thinks. He would be like a real kind of Coach Casey guy coming off the bench. I think that works out perfectly. So once again, the Raptors putting 34 points.
Yeah, huge.
That's
unheard of. That will not happen again.
Well, and again, we'll see. Also coming up today, what are the other videos that we're going to get to as well? Is that it? Are we? Yeah, I still want to play that Terry Metcalf, but it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work. We will take a look at. So the Leafs, when they finally get back into it, who are they playing? So we don't even know. I mean, and guess what? At this time of, considering what they've just gone through, I think if you're going to have a period of time off, like 6 days, for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Isn't it St. Louis? I think it's.
Oh, it is St. Louis. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the party. It's the St. Louis Blues. I think this is a terrible time for a layoff for the Leafs, quite frankly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. St. Louis Blues are a pretty good team, part of the best division in hockey right now. So it's a tough way to come back. But it's funny because they come back and then they'll play a couple of games and then All-Star break, which is another 3 days off.
I know.
Which is kind of like, okay, I don't get the schedule, but I'm not the one that makes it. So
I think the Flames, is that 5 in a row now for them?
Flames 5, yes.
5 in a row. And, of course, the news of Jaromir Jagr not going to be a Flame. Look, I guess you take a chance on it. For me, still, for Jaromir Jagr to be, I guess, significant on a team, I'm looking at what he probably could do in the playoffs. I mean, considering his age, I mean, you can't be that, I think, like everyone else. Age does catch up to you. I was thinking more about, a playoff performer, but he's hardly played any of the games, Dave. And I don't, people are sort of giving the boots to a degree to the management of the Calgary Flames. But I'm like, oh, they're the team that reached out. They're the team that put up some money to see if he could do it. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. But I don't sit there and blame the Flames administration or the ownership for taking a shot. At least they took a shot on it.
At least they took a shot. I still think this guy is able to play. What's probably going to happen more than likely is he's going to go back to Europe for the rest of the year. I don't think he's going to be part of the Olympics. A lot of people thought, Czech Republic for the Olympics. It makes a lot of sense. He said countless times so far that he is done with the Czech Republic national program. It's too bad because I would have liked to have seen somebody like that in an Olympic event like this where you're looking for the marquee player somewhere, and a Jaromir Jagr in that uniform would have looked really nice. Would have been a nice big fat C on his jersey as well.
I think it looked cool. Like, I'd still want a Jagr jersey.
Oh,
like I have 100%. No problem if I want to go it because I think it looked good.
Yeah, 100%. So what will happen is he'll play back in Europe, and don't be surprised if he has a nice summer of training and he'll kick it one more time or try to kick it coming up this upcoming season. We'll see, but could be the last time we see Jagr in North America, but I think he has one more try in him, and that might not happen until over the summer months here.
You want to see me take a hammer to this shit computer?
It's not our computer.
Look at this. Don't turn off your computer. Oh, I'll turn it off. All right. That streetcar. I want to see a streetcar run over this thing. I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate this thing.
It's really old.
And I'm not big on computer people. I'll be honest. I know you think you're smarter than everybody, and maybe you are, but not at recess. Remember that. Remember those times? Those were good times.
Some of the IT departments I've worked with is it's incredible how you.
This is the revenge, by the way.
How you could fit 7 guys in one room, all holding a cup of coffee and not doing anything at the same time.
Oh yeah. Some of those guys at TSN when we worked there. Wow.
You would phone them, and they would be in the studio within 60 minutes, even though they were just literally 17 steps around the corner.
And they could never fix it.
No.
It was always a thing. It was like, oh boy, I don't know how to do this. Well, we don't either. You're the one with the schooling. So we will get to, by the way, Russell's happy endings. We've got Dave Bastel's foreplay. I see that stuff is kind of coming on here. Desktop. Is that what I hit, Russell? As it's coming back, is it desktop that I hit? Yes, it is. I see some things coming on here. Of course, I have 9,000 things that normally come up. So we will watch as I kill time. I hate that. I got to tell you, this is the one thing about this whole universe. Us doing this thing, I just don't have the patience for this. Look at my face. You know that guy that you played with in hockey, you're like, the next shift, he's getting in a fight. How do you know? Look at his face.
Yeah, I used to see that in the dressing room. You kind of know. And then some of them would be sitting there foiling up.
Foil? Like, did you have foil guys?
Oh, I wonder what. We had one foil guy when I was.
Wow, I never played with a foil guy.
When I was playing hockey in St. Boniface, the rival was St. Vital. So it was St. Boniface, St. Vital, and the two guys would go head to head. Well, we played them 7 times a year, so I was going to say at least 7 times, if not more. Sometimes it was a couple times a game, and it would only be those two. and then as soon as one player or the other would try to pick on another player on the other team, it was WWF at the time. And yes, foil was involved. So
I never played with a foil guy. Oh, not yet.
Going
Okay,
big time
there we
old
go.
school
So
on
this is
you.
going to be fantastic. As I continue to look at the things that we need to have, Dave.
Yes.
You
let me know because I think the limousine's actually just down the block. So
okay. Well, we still need to get. What are we doing here? The totals that I talked about when we're looking at this weekend, I still think that for the most part, I think these, sometimes you look at games and you go, that's okay, my one gimme. Well, last week, my gimme, or the one I thought was the Rams. I think it was the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work out.
No.
That didn't work out very well.
That was my only loss last week, too. So totals this week, if Philadelphia, Atlanta, that's at 41 right now. We're expecting actually pretty decent conditions in Philadelphia considering that it is January in that New England game. This is kind of interesting because with a number like 48, it's kind of telling the public that they believe the Titans will be able to score because I don't think New England's putting up 35 against the Tennessee Titans, but I could be wrong. Otherwise, the Pittsburgh game, it's supposed to be frigid conditions in Pittsburgh. That number's at 41. I wouldn't be surprised if that number actually hits the under just because of, just ball movement. There's going to be more running than passing. That usually means the clock is eaten up. That Minnesota-New Orleans game is at 47 right now. And you're talking about the best defense in football against a defense in the Saints that is probably around 10 to 15-ish. So it's not like it's terrible, but it's still defensive-minded. The Saints have a lot of good weapons on offense, though. Somebody in Vegas is thinking there's going to be some points scored in that one.
Yeah, see, that's where a lot of people sort of are taking a look at that. That late money that comes in from some of the. Okay, where'd this go? Sorry, here we go. So I think, boy, am I enjoying this? You got to know how much I love this. Well, Dave, is the limousine coming in? Is that what I see?
It's parked outside in actually the loading zone. So good luck to him as we welcome to the studio on this Friday, Mr. Victor Newman. Good morning, Victor.
That last 10 minutes was a goddamn abortion. What the hell is going on, Russell? You're the technical director. You haven't done a damn thing. You're staring at the waitresses that are coming in. You don't think that I don't notice that. And don't think that that's acceptable in this day and age. You treat these women with dignity. Not like how you treat those National Geographics and Victoria's Secrets that you hide under your bed. You don't think I know about that? Your damn mother tells me every week, what are we going to do about our boy? I said, he's your son. He's not mine. Trust me on that. By the way, David, I thought you did a good job yourself.
Thank you.
How's your mother doing?
I'm waiting for the second
your mother.
part.
Don't interrupt when I'm asking you a damn question, all right? All right, here we go. This is a very important weekend, and I'm going to give you some great, passionate picks. Let's start with Atlanta at the Eagles. It's a damn shame the young boy who's quarterbacking the Eagles is not going to play. Atlanta has been there before, and I think at -3, I'm going to take them. Usually the Falcons are someone that I don't believe in, but they've got enough to beat Philadelphia. If it's under 3.5 points, I'm going to take it. Also, let's take a look at over-unders, the totals. I heard Dummy Richards talking about that before. The first half over-under in New Orleans, Minnesota is 23. David, I see no reason to think that they're going to score over that because Minnesota plays damn good defense at home, and New Orleans isn't the track meet team they used to be. Under 23, I'm taking the first half under. Same thing with Tennessee and New England. Under 24 points before you think that the Patriots are going to score all kinds of points. Have you seen them in playoff games? I'll tell you what, the hoodie doesn't give a damn. He just wants to win, and sometimes that's not with points, and it won't be in the first half. Same with Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. Under 20.5, and I see no reason how in God's name, what's his name, Blake Buffles?
Bortles.
Pork Bottles? Whatever the hell his name is, he's shit, and he's not going to get any damn points. And I don't see an explosion from Pittsburgh neither. If they would stop fighting, they're like Nicky and myself from a few years ago. Under 20.5, I'm taking the first half under. In college basketball, and I'm damn excited about this. Nebraska at Penn State. You're going to give Nebraska 7.5 points? Then you're going to lose. I'll take them. Take Nebraska plus 7.5 at Penn State. That is tonight in college basketball. And finally, Providence at DePaul. DePaul is disgusting. So listen to me. At minus 1.5, take the Friars. They beat Xavier last week, and they're a damn good team. Minus 1.5, that's money in the bank. And Victor Newman is telling you, on those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, it is 43 times your money.
We have an old caller. Phil Gray actually says hi, and he says he wants to meet you one day, Victor.
Let me just tell you something. That's a fantasy that's never going to happen. He's a damn disgrace as well. Hanging up in the middle of the show is inexcusable. And don't blame Russell. He's got enough damn problems. That's Victor Newman's.
Victor Newman's Picks. Every single Friday, sometimes Thursday on RobMikeRogers.com. And, man, he made it through the storm we're having outside right now. I'm actually surprised just because of how crappy it is out there. Or as Donald Trump would say yesterday, a little bit of a shithole.
Yeah, shithole. I'm telling you, it's weird.
What a loser. Biggest loser in the United States, if not the world.
Even if that's what you think.
Yeah.
Don't say it. Are people thinking the same thing? Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure that there's a lot of places when someone, if I'm in office and they go, you know what, Mike, what you need to do is you need to, as the leader of Canada, go down to Haiti. I don't want to go to Haiti. Have you seen what's going on in Haiti? But you say, absolutely, I've got to go down there and help the people of the world. And actually would talk like that.
Yes.
That's what you say. You don't say things like, oh, my God, I hope I don't get turned into a zombie. See, these are the things that you don't say. But that's why I'm not running for office. It is Friday.
It is.
And therefore, we get to the fun and the excitement of Dave Bastel's Foreplay. It's Friday, and you know what that means. A little foreplay with Dave Bastel. He's going to give you some foreplay you won't forget. Brought to you by Sports Interaction Canada's online sports book. Give it something to me, Big Sexy. Yeah, okay, Big Sexy.
Well, I'm going to give it to you, all right.
Yep.
Let's start off with that Atlanta game. I look at this game and I go, okay, Atlanta makes sense, right? And I sit there, okay, does Philadelphia have a chance in this one? I think they actually do, but it's only 3 points. I'm taking the Falcons and I'm giving away the 3 points. I think they go out there and they win. I think it's going to be closer than what people think. Atlanta doesn't traditionally play well on the road, but I mean, last weekend in Los Angeles, they looked fantastic. And they beat a very good Rams team. In fact, a Rams team that is much better than this Philadelphia team. So I like the Falcons minus the 3 points. Moving along, a little bit of a hunch here, but I think this is going to be tighter than what the bookmakers say. I think the Titans can play with the New England Patriots, and I think the reason is because of that run game. And when they use Derrick Henry as often as they will, and they will use him 25 times or more in this game, tick, tick, tick goes the clock. There won't be enough points scored. Take the Titans plus the 13.5 points. Also, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh. I'm not calling it an outright win, but okay, I'm counting it an outright win. I like Jacksonville to go to Pittsburgh and win. The Jaguars will win, so take them plus the points as an insurance policy. Also, New Orleans in Minnesota. 5 points is a lot. This started off at 3, then it jumped to 3.5. The public on the Minnesota Vikings. Jump, jump, jump goes the number. I hope it actually goes even higher on Sunday when I make some finalization bets. Take the Saints on the Friday at plus 5 points. 25 on the entire bet gets you $355.
Nice. There's some money. You know, this is some different music.
It is.
This is what happens when your computer cacks live on the show and you have to find other stuff. Oh, there's a picture of a, kind of a sexy girl having a drink in like Bahamas or something. It says, not for nothing sexy. Is this sexy? Russell? Yeah, like he knows. He doesn't know.
He knows sexy. You know what he thinks sexy is right now? Those lights, those Christmas lights sparkling in the background.
Can you believe after we went on our tirade, my rant about how stupid those stupid things are?
Oh, that's sexy.
And there they are blasting now. It blinded him yesterday. Seriously, I think he's lost his eyesight. But you know what? Maybe in a bar it's okay. Because guess what? It's more fitting in this than it. At least this says what it is: having drinks and trying to hook up, as opposed to the birth of the baby Jesus. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Okay. I think he's been pretty good on these too. I'm not sure, but it's time for Russell Graham's Happy Endings. Oh boy.
All right, so in the NHL tonight, there's a few games, but the lines were only open for the one game, and that was Winnipeg at Chicago.
And those are good games. So that's a good game. Yeah.
So I am taking the total at over 6 goals for the entire game. That pays a 191.
That's respectable.
And that's a good 191 is a good number.
Winnipeg's a good scoring team.
Damn
I think
straight it is.
Get at least 4 on their own. Expect Chicago to get 2.
Maybe
hoping 1 or 2. Hoping for the over 6 there. First team to score in the game, I'm also taking the Winnipeg Jets on that one. I think they'll jump out to an early lead and kind of control this game for most of the game. And then I'm taking Winnipeg in regulation.
Yeah.
This game is not going to go to overtime.
Wait a minute. This is supposed to be called Russell Graham's Happy Endings, not Russell Graham influenced by Big Brother Dave. You give him a nipple twister so he's going to say all the right things. That's what that was. That was full intimidation on that.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I am not a very intimidating person.
Oh, come on. That was sad.
Was it?
But I agree with all those picks.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day. What do you care about? Winning. It's only about winning. Also, before we go, I want to tell those that watch the show and the program, you've seen Jamie Dawick, you've seen the Toronto Rock cheerleaders on here, great friends of ours, Mike Hancock, who handles all that kind of stuff. I'm going to the Rock game tonight against Rochester.
Hey.
That will be filled full of hate. So I'm actually staying downtown. So you know it's going to go sideways. I haven't done this in a while. So if you want to go to the Rock game, I'll be looking. Look, I like going down there.
Yep.
My face was watching you pee and poo for what? At the ACC for the better part of 3 years.
That's right.
Yeah. And then they changed that to not having me watch the poo, but actually having poo as a radio station. So that was the switch they did there.
I like it.
Yeah, that was the switch. So if you see me down there, come up, talk. If you're part of the roadies, you know Jarrett Harris and boys, I'm going to come and see you. So if you're going to the game, I will see you there because Rochester, you going down. You suck.
You tell them.
Yeah.
They actually.
Let me tell you, Dave. Sorry.
They actually should be able to beat the crap out of them, too. Last time, I think they scored 24 on them. Wasn't that beatdown?
Well, the beatdown was against the Stealth. So if you.
Okay. Yeah.
Hopefully there's some goals left because they.
That's true, too.
They just kept scoring on the Stealth. So looking forward to that. So I will see you guys down there tonight. Anything else coming up this weekend? Well, you heard Warren Sawku, who was on there, talked about Baseball Canada. We will get the Luke Wilson silent auction that's online. I'll tweet that out later.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to have to maybe work out something with Baseball Canada that next year we're going to be part of that
I'd love
banquet
to.
as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
16th annual banquet goes down tomorrow at the Marriott. And, of course, all the information on Baseball Canada, their website, and definitely check that out. It's one of these grassroots programs where a lot of people will look at the program and go, "Oh, it's baseball. It's big league already." Not in Canada. There's a significant difference to what Baseball Canada is funded compared to like USA Baseball and Baseball USA and teams like that. Canada right now is a top 10 team in all of the world. They're actually 10th right now in the overall rankings, and it's because of support like this is going to happen tomorrow and the programs that are developing and kids going south of the border coming back. It's starting to build where I see something happening in the next 4 or 5 years where there's even more Canadians in Major League Baseball, and it's because of events like this. So go out and support it. Check out the website, Baseball Canada, and definitely say hi to our buddy Warren for us because he's going to be front and center tomorrow.
Speaking of charities, it won't be that long before we start thinking about the tournaments that you want to be in golf-wise, and if you're a corporation or a company that wants to help out, we also are the spokespersons for Epilepsy Canada, and we will be once again up at Hockley Valley for Aiden's Drive, and so we'll be looking for foursomes or those corporately that want to get involved. I'm sure DKI will be a big part of that. We'll probably talk to Sports Interaction. Those that want to help out, it is for Epilepsy Canada, and that tournament, not that far away, and boy, was it beautiful last year.
Yeah, Hockley Valley was outstanding and they did such a great job, and definitely a recommendation from the three of us here that they do golf tournaments really well, and if you have it in the schedule and if it's built in, try to stay down there as well, because it's just an awesome side of Ontario that you definitely want to take advantage when you could kind of lay loose and forget about everything that happens in this day-to-day city grind.
What? We just become best friends? Yep.
Yeah, the city grind. Grind.
That's a new expansion team coming up there. Toronto Grind.
I'm surprised that doesn't exist. Is there no grind? That's actually a good name. The Grind.
The Grind.
Like that's like those old Daryl Sutter teams that the Flames had, and that's what they used to do. They would grind you down for 3 hours.
Yes, they would.
And by the time the third period came, and guys like Robin Regier were just always hammering you in the boards in the third period, you just didn't want to play. Literally didn't want to play anymore. The Grind. I'd like to thank Warren Saku, our good friend, joining us here today talking about Baseball Canada. We'll make sure we get the online part of that auction out to you later today. And also, Phil Gray got interrupted by the stupid computer, but always a good friend, did a great job.
Awesome guy.
We look forward to those playoff games. Remember, unders and dogs, Dave. Unders and dogs.
Unders and dogs. Go do it.